Greetings everyone and welcome to the channel. Today we are taking a look at an early access FPS shooter that launched onto Steam a few months ago. It costs £11.99 or $18 if you're from American land, and probably as much as a house if you're from Australia or Canada. But the question is this another early access scam? Is it worth your money and the time? First of all, I want to talk about the settings. You have a variety of graphical settings you can tweak. Pretty much everything you would want is here, apart from a missing file slider. Instead, if you want to change that, you're looking for a configuration file. You can also rebind all your keys, and there's even built-in controller support. Which is nice to see that this is a properly made PC game. That's something that some AAA games can't get right. Story? There isn't one. In all seriousness, this is a multiplayer focused game with no single player apart from basic bot practice matches. The game itself is set in the Vietnam War of the 50s, 60s and 1970s, which saw countries like France, America and Australia face off against angry communist rice farmers and mostly get their asses kicked, although those countries being technology superior in every way. Although in all fairness, the MVA was supported by the Soviet Union in a type of proxy war. See Russia, it's okay when you send arms to fight a country you don't like, but not when we do it. Anyway, getting to the point, the setting is not often seen in video games, with only games like Rise and Storm, Vietnam, Battlefield Vietnam and the Viet Cong series doing it for first person shooters. No, I'm not counting Call of Duty Black Ops, as that's just complete nonsense and not representative of the Vietnam War or any Cold War setting. It's always a good setting to see in a video game, with its variety of urban and jungle and rural warfare and a weird mix of World War II and Cold War weaponry. It's not been the most explored in games, and it's such an immersive and epic setting. However, this game is definitely going for the more historical approach, with weapons and equipment being faction locked and each faction being representative of their real life counterpart. The time being is America versus the MVA/Viet Cong, with the Australians and South Vietnamese coming soon in a later update. Graphically, this game does look like it came out of a time capsule. It generally looks like a late PS3/early PS4 game from that time when everything was brown and grey. However, this game is a lot more brown and green. It's not an ugly looking game, but it's definitely not a good looking one either. But that's to be suspected from a small development team and it being a Steam Early Access game. It runs on the Source engine, so it looks similar to older Source games such as Counter-Strike and Half-Life. It definitely is dated, however graphics don't make a good game, and they are not the be-all and end-all. You can tell the developers have put a lot of love and passion. Have tried to make the game look as realistic as possible. They have tried to make the weapon animations as realistic as they can, although there are a few odd and unrealistic things here and there. The game, however, definitely seems to have some optimization problems. I am running an RTX 3080 and a Ryzen 9 with 32GB RAM and an SSD. I get constantly moments where it drops down to low FPS for a few seconds. When you first load in, it can run like an asthmatic hippo. I'm guessing more work is needed, which is also to be expected as any early access game. Due to this, it doesn't feel as immersive or as atmospheric as other games. It doesn't make you want to pick up an M60 and run through the jungle blasting fortunate son and yelling, "I'm gonna have me some fun." Instead, it feels like a video game or movie. Now, a lot of people online are saying this game is the new Counter-Strike with more weapons. However, I completely disagree. This game, despite the same engine and physics and hit-scan gameplay, is nothing like Counter-Strike. This game seems a lot less objective focused and more lone wolf. There's no shop or buying rounds, and most games have respawns. You can also ADS and go prone. This instead feels more like classic Call of Duty games, as in Call of Duty 1-3, where you had no unlocks, perks, kill streaks and weapons for faction locks. The game does feature a class system and it is very Battlefield inspired. You have the sniper guy, a medic guy, a guy that can call an artillery, a guy that can hand out ammo, and a few more classes, which each give you a role to play in your squad. However, it's rare people actually work as a team. There's also a Spartan system in the style of Battlefield. The movement is pretty smooth as you'd expect from a Source game. You can sprint, lean left and right and climb over things. The gunplay is also smooth and has a fast time to kill. It is hit scan and often a few bullets will kill someone, so dying is pretty easy. You may die a lot actually. Guns are satisfying with each feeling different and meaty, having slightly different recoil patterns and fire rate. You can carry the standard primary and secondary weapons. You can also deploy a bayonet and charge in there like you are Rambo. There is limited gun customization with mostly period accurate scopes or silencers on weapons that were designed for them. Most of the time it's good old fashioned iron sights, and you'll definitely need more skill than most shooters. There's no M1 Garand here with a drum magazine, EOTech red dot sight, laser sight, and with anime waifu camouflage painted on it. That would make Jonathan Ferguson cry, which is nice to see. There's a good variety of period accurate weapons with the fan favourites such as the endless variants of the AR-15 and AK platforms, to less known things such as Type 57 silenced pistol and the K50 SMG. Each weapon is a joy to use, and it's fun trying different ones out, as each one is very unique. The maps are also very Call of Duty-esque. There are plenty of small arenas with various lanes connecting major points, often with small choke points, flanking routes, or some aspect of verticality built in. Most of the maps are urban themed, which is a little weird for a Vietnam game. A couple lead to frustration dying simulators due to the small distance between the two teams' spawn points, resulting in either team not being able to break out. There's also not many maps and you'll go through them fast. Overall the maps are quite small. Also, the matches tend to end a bit fast. Higher scores rates and timers may be needed to get the matches to last a good length. There's also no perks or X-ray vision war hacks. If you're good at shooters, you'll dominate here. In terms of game modes, you have basically all the Call of Duty type modes such as TDM, Free For All, Capture the Flag, Gun Game, Domination. These are all the classic modes you know and love. If you have played a modern FPS, you know exactly what to expect. This game doesn't try anything new in terms of game modes, but does the classics well. However, this game is not trying to be modern or new. This game is retro in design, and sometimes that's nice to see. If you want a game that takes you back to the golden age shooters that were basic and fun, and you played for the hell of it instead of grinding a battle pass, then this game is for you. There's no nonsense money making schemes like skins, loot boxes or microtransactions. It's generally nice to see an honest and pure old school approach to a shooter with an active and passionate developer. However, the AI bot matches are a bit hit and miss. They're either Chuck Norris with a laser beam skill or extremely stupid. On easy mode they don't even move, for example. This is an area that definitely needs to be improved to make it fun and stop people from getting bored or frustrated. Overall, military conflict Vietnam tries to take us back to a simpler time and resurrect the shooters of the early 2000s. It mostly does this well, and overall is fun. The developers as of now also don't seem like they're type to run away with the money and abandon the project, with a lot of the roadmap being nearly finished and with regular updates. Also a lot of communication from the developer. However, how long this will last is to be seen. The game is also priced reasonably and you don't feel ripped off. For the price of it, you can have a lot of fun. However, the player base is low and finding matches can be difficult. It may not be worth buying until the game proves it can get a decent and good number of player base and hold it. This game will ultimately live and die by its community. At the time of speaking, only 6 people are playing, which is a worrying sign. The game does also have mod support and maps on Steam Workshop, so there's at least an attempt to develop a community. I think the biggest problem, however, is its name. It's too generic, and many people would probably confuse it for the many asset flip cash grabs that spam Steam every day. There's also a serious lack of marketing and almost no YouTube presence. I think if you have money to burn, buy it and try it. If you like retro shooters, you'll enjoy this game. If you prefer modern shooters, you will probably hate it. Also, if you don't like playing against bots, then you will definitely hate it. If you're not sure, give it more time and see if more people play it. But overall, I think this is a fun game and one to watch. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.